Hey everyone, welcome back to my channel. I am Leslie and I am so excited for today's video. So if you are someone who is like how I used to be, where you have way too many clothes, you never know what to wear, you only wear a small percentage of what you actually own, maybe you forget clothes that you have, you might even rebuy some of the clothes that you have. If that is you, you are in the right spot. According to the Pareto principle, we wear such a small percentage of our clothes. We wear about 20% of our clothes 80% of the time. So that other 80% of our clothes are just not being utilized. So I'm going to share with you the formula that I used to get my clothes and my closet under control for good. I have used this method for years and it has helped me so much, especially when I went from being a stay-at-home mom going back to work. It was just a game changer with trying to figure out what clothes I actually need. So I will put some timestamps if you want to skip around, but don't miss that formula because that is the part that will really help you. So one of the things that I really struggled with was my fantasy self versus my actual self. So what I wanted to wear, what I thought I needed, what I wanted to be, all of those pieces, those are the things that I used to buy, but those are the things I used to never wear. They would just sit in my closet or my drawer and I would just never get around to wearing them. I would forget about them. I remember at one point I ended up with like 15 mini skirts and like I hardly ever wear skirts. It's pretty rare. So I don't know what I was thinking, but with this method, I definitely got it more under control. So with that principle in mind, I'm going to go ahead and show you the formula that I use, and then we will jump into some more tips and other things to consider when you're getting your wardrobe together. For the formula, it really helps to write it down. So I'm going to just write it on paper, which is what I did from the beginning. I have seen other YouTubers do similar formulas, but this is the way I changed it to kind of fit within what I wanted. So you're going to look at what outfits you need for each week. So the easiest way to do that is determine your outfit categories. So things like loungewear, work, school, athletic wear. You could do pajamas if you want. I normally just do loungewear, casual outfits, maybe like fancy casual or something where you're stepping it up a bit. So just make a list of your categories. Okay, so just ignore where I started to spell business wrong. I fixed it. So these are my categories. And then I'm going to determine what I need for 1 week. Loungewear. I didn't put specifically pajamas, but a lot of times there's some overlap between loungewear and pajamas, but I would say I need loungewear every day. So I'm going to go ahead and put 7. Casual, I really only need casual. I have 1 business casual day at work and then the weekend. So, oh gosh, the weekend sometimes too, I just do loungewear. So I'm going to say probably 2 casual outfits per week. Athletic, I need at least 4 to 5. I'm going to say 4. And then business as far as work, I should just wrote work since I can't spell business apparently. That would be 4 because I have 1 work from home day. And then I don't know why I put formal, but that is definitely 0. I just wanted to demonstrate an extra category. So let's take that one off. And then all you need to do is multiply based on how many times you want to do laundry. So for me, I do laundry once a week. If you do laundry every other week, you would just multiply all of these by 2. So loungewear, if you want to do laundry every other week, you would just multiply by 2. So you would need 14 loungewear outfits. And then these, we are only looking at outfits, not individual pieces right now. I'm just going to work with the 1 week because of my laundry. If you're someone, maybe you have laundry at your house, so you don't mind doing it more often. If you want to do laundry maybe twice a week, you could always just cut these in half if you're willing to wash clothes a little bit more. But I think this is a pretty solid plan to start at like one week or so. So I know that was super simple, but this is really the bulk of how you do that formula. Obviously, this is not going to be everything you wear because you still need outerwear, you need shoes, you need underwear, just all of that, seasonal clothes, all of that kind of thing. But this will give you a good idea of what you're doing each week. Then after you have your week totals, look at things that you might need once a month. So maybe you have like a presentation once a month or a more formal event once a month. Go ahead and put it here. So you might need like one extra business, I would say business professional instead of business casual, and like if you have a presentation or something. Or you might need one formal piece. So you want to make sure you have some of those items on hand as well. So the next thing is to look at your actual wardrobe and see what you have. So don't think so much about the individual numbers, look more at the ratio. So look at what categories you need the most outfits from. So things like, for me, definitely loungewear, work outfits, and athletic wear. So these are the things that should make up the bulk of my wardrobe because it's what I wear the most. What I found in the past when I first did this was I had a ton of casual clothes, but I only wear casual clothes like 1 or 2 times a week. So I really didn't need that many casual clothes. So this is going to be the first step to where you start downsizing. If you see categories like that are not aligned as far as what you wear the most versus what you own the most of, that is going to be your first step to start downsizing there. I know that's pretty short and sweet and simple, but a lot of this stuff is really personal. So I'm not going to give you specific numbers of pieces to own because that's going to be different for everybody and their needs and their laundry situation and all of that. But this is a really good way to just look at what you actually need and a good starting point. So the next thing would be looking at things like outerwear and shoes and that sort of thing. So while I'm in here in front of my closet, I might as well show you a little bit of what I have. So this is mostly workwear, a little bit of casual wear, but it's more than what most people would consider for a capsule wardrobe. But I just wanted to show you that you don't have to be bound by rules of a capsule wardrobe. You can have additional pieces and that's totally fine. There's no set law for you to have a certain number of clothes. You can do what you want, but I will just show you how easy it is to pick out my outfits now. So these are my blazers and cardigans. So depending on the time of year and what the office is like, I might wear a blazer or a cardigan. So that's why I have so many here. And then this is what I wear on the outside anyway. So I don't want to be looking the exact same every day. So that's why I have several pieces here. Some of my clothes are in the laundry right now. So I do have a few pairs of pants missing. But I have my work pants. I have some jeans. Over here I have some t-shirts and some work shirts, and then the coats over there are going to be like winter coats. Like I have 2 heavier coats. One is more of a wool pea coat, and then the other is the puffer jacket, which honestly I don't even wear this pea coat that much anymore. That's one that I should probably consider getting rid of. But yeah, I mean, that's it. Like I don't have a whole lot here and it's really all I need. I love it. It's just so simple. So in addition to that formula, there are definitely some other things you can do and just other things you need to keep in mind. So the very first thing I would recommend is some kind of closet tracking. So there are a few different methods you can use for this. The one that I started out with and the easiest one is the hanger trick. So all you do is flip your hangers around. So instead of just hanging your clothes as normal, you will turn it around so the hanger's facing the other way. So as you wear your items, just put your hanger back the normal way, and then this can help you track what items you're wearing, because any hangers that are still flipped, those are the items that you haven't worn since you first started that method. So people might do this for a month, you might do it for an entire season. I think it's really helpful for seasonal things because you can see like what you didn't wear throughout the entire season. And if you didn't wear it for a full season, there's a good chance you're probably not going to wear it. So it's definitely a great method for that. So in addition to the hanger method, you could use something like a clothing tracking app. So I used an outfit planner called A Closet. It used to be free and now it's not free, which is why I might not recommend it. I feel like there are better free versions available, but it did really help me out. And at least as a free version, it was really worth it. I can't really speak to the paid version because that's mainly why I got rid of it, but it can really help you to have some kind of like clothing or outfit planner, and you can see what items you have just at a glance, and you can come up with some outfits to know how you're going to wear those pieces. And in addition to that, you could always just keep your own notes. I would recommend some kind of digital note taking so that you can use pictures because that will really help. And one really simple thing you can do is just have a folder in whatever Photos app you use. Go ahead, have a folder of every piece of clothing that you have, or at least the ones you want to track. And then as you wear them, move them to another folder. So you might just have your whole collection and then a folder that says worn or something to that effect. So you know what clothes you're actually wearing. And then at the end of whatever period of time you want, you can look back and see what clothes you actually wore within that time period. And as far as the time period, like I said, some people just do a whole season. You could do as little as like 2 weeks to a month, just depending on what you want to see. If it's everyday wear or office wear, things like that, you could probably just look within the month and see what you're actually wearing to those regular occasions. Another thing to consider is to have an actual capsule wardrobe. You don't have to make your entire wardrobe a capsule. I know that kind of narrows things down a lot, but for me, I actually use a capsule wardrobe for my work clothes. So I have a smaller collection of clothes that I'm able to mix and match for work. So the whole point of the capsule wardrobe is that you have a set number of pieces that all kind of mix and match. So you can just basically just grab 2 pieces from your closet and they're going to match. So it makes things really easy. I know some people don't like capsules because it is a smaller number of items, but there's no set size of your capsule. I know that mine might be a little bit bigger than some other people's capsules because I do live in a place with seasons. So I have to have my summer clothes, my winter clothes. I like to have at least enough to get me through a week. So I don't want to be repeating things throughout the week, except for maybe like a blazer or something like that. A lot of people will wear pants over and over, but I just like to have at least enough to get me through the week. What if there's like something gets spilled on them or I have to skip a week with doing laundry? I just like having that extra little bit there. But whatever works for you, whatever you want to do, that's totally fine. It's just one thing that can kind of get you into that mindset of narrowing down what you have. This is also really good for kids. So my daughter absolutely has a sort of capsule, as in pretty much everything she owns can be mixed and matched. I don't usually buy like specific outfits where both the top and bottom can't really go with other things. I tend to buy just plain pants and then a variety of shirts. So either of us can just go in there and pick 2 items and it's just super easy. One thing to consider with a capsule, like I said, is seasonal items. So keep in mind that you need enough for each season. You might need some special occasion pieces. Just remember some of those outliers that you might need outside of your capsule. So don't just go and get rid of everything right off the bat. Make sure you really think it through. There are also some additional considerations that you'll want to keep in mind when you're downsizing your wardrobe. I have my notes here just because I want to make sure I get all of them out there. So for one is laundry frequency. So I talked about this a bit already, but you want to make sure you have enough to get you through each laundry cycle. So you don't want to be thrown off and have to do laundry like in the middle of the week or when you don't expect it. Make sure you have enough to get you through those days. The other thing would be buffers. So like I said, I like to have at least 1 piece for every day of the week, at least for work, because work, you can't just wear anything. You have to wear what's in your work wardrobe. So I want to make sure I have a piece for every day. So if I do have to repeat an outfit, it's really easy. And then additionally, some red flags to keep in mind when you're going through your clothes. So things like with the hanger trick, anything that you haven't worn in an entire season, like I mentioned, you may just want to go ahead and get rid of that because you already went several months without wearing it. Another thing would be if you have multiple items that are very similar, but you only reach for the same one every time. So maybe you have a collection of hoodies, but you always wear the same one every time. That was my situation. I had several hoodies, but I only reached for the same like 2 or 3 out of like the 10 that I had. So I drastically downsized my hoodies. But that can apply to a lot of different things, maybe gloves, or I guess it's a big one for like outerwear, things that you're going to repeat a lot, but also stuff like jeans. Maybe you have like several pairs of jeans and you keep just re-wearing the same couple every time. That would be something to look at also. And then like I mentioned with the buffers, you do want to have some items on hand just in case, but you want to be careful with some of those just in case items. So maybe it's something like a formal dress that you have on hand just in case you need it, but you never need it. That was me also. So I had at least a handful of formal dresses, and I never need formal dresses. It is so rare. And if I do need a formal dress, I'm probably going to want to just buy a new one or thrift one, or at least find one specific to that occasion. So just kind of watch out for those just in case items because they can start to pile up. Also, you'll want to ask yourself some questions while you're looking at your items. So things such as, how does this make me feel? Do I feel good wearing it? If you don't feel good wearing it, you're probably not going to. You're probably not going to reach for it, so just let it go. Another one with those just in case items, just think if you have an occasion to wear it to. Think ahead 3 to 6 months, maybe a year, although that's a little bit long. But if you don't have an occasion coming up in the next at least like 6 months, I would say you probably don't need that item, and it would be pretty easy to just get a new one when you need it. Although you're not paying to store it in your house, it does take some of that, it does add to that mental load. So you're going to see it all the time, and you're just going to be reminded that you're not wearing it, and it's just an extra piece of clutter that you have in your closet. And the final question is, would I buy this again? I mean, if you wouldn't buy it again, maybe you don't even like it that much. If you don't like it, you're probably not going to wear it. So that is something to keep in mind as well. So what next? When do you repeat this process? What do you do to keep your items under control? So things like major lifestyle changes, you'll probably want to do this again. I remember when I went from being a stay-at-home mom to a working mom, my outfit needs were completely different. So that's something I had to kind of refresh. Maybe you're moving to a different city where there's a different climate. You might be going from school to a working environment. Another one would be having kids. I remember when my daughter was a baby and a toddler, I just stopped wearing white. I stopped wearing most light colors, which sucks because I really like light colors, but she was just so messy and it was inevitable that I would spill something on myself. So I just gave up wearing light clothes for a while. And then as she got older, like she is now, I can go back to wearing light colored clothes. So just remember these things as well. And then finally, choose your new items carefully. Just be careful of what you bring in your house after you do this closet purge, because on average, Americans buy 68 pieces of clothing every year. So that is a lot of pieces to be bringing into your house. If you're curious about the dollar amount, that comes out to a little over $2,000 a year on clothes that you might not even be wearing. So it's really important to be mindful of what you're purchasing. The average garment is only worn about 7 times before it's discarded, so you want to make sure you are buying quality clothes that you can wear over and over, because I know I don't want to spend money on something I'm going to wear less than 7 times before I get rid of it. I want to wear it for at least a year, probably several years, hopefully. So whenever I'm looking for a new piece, I look at things like quality so that I can keep that piece and keep wearing it. I really hope these tips help you. Like I said, it really changed my life being able to downsize my wardrobe. It is so easy to pick out my outfits. I actually just pick out all my outfits for the week, for the work week anyway, on Sunday night, and I just hang them in a separate part of my closet. So every day I just grab my outfit and go. It is just so simple. So if you want that kind of life, then just follow some of these tips and do that formula, and I promise you, you will get there. So if this was helpful, please drop me a like or a comment, subscribe, and I will see you in the next one. Bye.